Resonate with some individuals who probably face some of the same challenges and may be still facing them. Just to give you some background of me, I am the daughter of two beautiful individuals. My father, who has passed away, Mr. Kenneth Evans, and my mother, who is here with me today, Mrs. Janice Evans. My father was born in 1947 in Kansas City, Missouri. He was an only child, and his mother gave him up for adoption because she was struggling with addiction. After high school, my father served as a soldier in the United States Army during the Vietnam War. During his time in the Army, he was introduced to drugs because back then drugs were often given to the soldiers to help enhance their performance and to keep them up during the late night hours. His exposure to these drugs during this time led to his addiction when he came back home to his family. After serving in the Army, he also went on to obtain his CDLs, where he became a truck driver. My mother, who was born in 1961 in the South, in Tennessee, she was the oldest of 12 siblings, the oldest girl. And so she had the very hard task of cooking, cleaning, and tending to all of those siblings while her mother, single mother, worked two jobs to support her family to make sure their bills were paid. My mother was busy being a secondary parent to her siblings that she thought she might as well have her own, and this led to her becoming a teenage parent. My parents met in Kansas City, Kansas, where they joined families, and that's where I came along. I am one of five. I have four older brothers, all big brothers, so just imagine how that was growing up. And then later on in life, I was blessed with a little sister, Sade, who my mom adopted, and we've had her since birth. So as you can tell from the background that I've given you, that everything hasn't always been easy. While growing up, we definitely had our struggles. I had two parents who struggled with addiction. There were times throughout my childhood where we depended on welfare, where we needed food stamps to survive, where we lived in public housing. And as you know, sometimes those areas aren't always the best or the safest neighborhoods. I spent most of my childhood living on A Street in St. Margaret's, where there was also a time where we were homeless. And so we would live from couch to couch at relatives' house. And also I've lived in several homeless shelters in Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. These were very tough times. Sorry. So as you can imagine, I was never one of those little girls who always knew that I could be this or that I could be a doctor. Yes. Thank you, Amy. Okay. We're gonna get through this. Okay. But even during those tough times, my teachers never knew what was going on with me. They would never guess what I was going through at home because my parents still made sure that we stayed focused in school. Even if we didn't have a place to stay or if we were living out of a car, I would still have perfect attendance. My parents often took us to the library to read and for entertainment because we couldn't afford to do many things. And I love school personally because I love to learn. It was something that I could control. School was my scapegoat from chaos at home. Reading was my way to escape my reality. Learning became my top priority. When I became a high school student, my life had become more stable. My mom had gotten clean and has been clean for over 10 years now, which I'm so excited for. We had a home, but we still had our minor struggles. So during high school, my sophomore year, age 15, is when I learned about the Health Careers Pathways program and all that it had to offer. And I believe during this time is where Mrs. Hamill, where she's hiding somewhere, she sought me out when I was a Wyandotte High School student and told me about this program and that I should apply for it. And this is where I met the beautiful souls of Miss Marsha, Mr. Reggie, and Dr. Katrina, who I heard talk to you guys last year, and Mr. Criswell. He was a teacher, a math teacher. Mr. Jones, all of these beautiful people is where I met them. And I can honestly say, this is where I started to not only dream about my future, but I began to believe in myself. I became surrounded by people who believed in me and my potential. And they challenged me to explore all the options out there. I didn't think I was interested in medicine until I had the opportunity to shadow a doctor while I was in this program. His name is Dr. David Dubinsky, and it was as part of the Summer Science Academy. While shadowing him, seeing his interactions with patients and how he connected with them and made decisions to heal them, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. But also being a part of a program, seeing other minority students pursuing PhDs and MD degrees like Dr. Reggie, I knew that it was all possible. I still didn't let my unfortunate background hinder me. I knew my family couldn't afford to send me off to college, and so I started to do my research very early in my late sophomore, early junior year. I made a spreadsheet I just started Googling scholarships, and I made an Excel spreadsheet of all their requirements and their due dates, and I applied to over 50 scholarships or more, and received most of them, including Coca-Cola and Gates that was mentioned. I also obtained my CNA license during my senior year of high school, and I used that to earn extra money throughout college to support myself and my family when needed. I worked on weekends, school breaks, and throughout the summer. I decided to go to the University of St. Mary, which was close to home. I wasn't ready to leave the nest just yet. When entering college, I still had some self-doubt. I knew I wanted to be a doctor, but I still didn't think I could do it. I was stuck between studying biology and also nursing because I still didn't believe in myself. It also didn't help to have some faculty who tried to discourage me from the school and tell me that it might be easier to obtain nursing because of my ACT and SAT scores. And they thought that they weren't good enough. But I am so happy I didn't listen to those naysayers, and I chose to follow my heart and my passion. As a college student, I stayed focused. I did get involved in leadership positions such as cheer and student government, but academics always came first. One of my best friends, who was my roommate back then, she always teases me on how when it came to a final test, I will only need a 10% on the test. Basically, I could fail the test and still receive an A in the class. But to me, it was so important, learning became so important, that even on those tests, on the final exams that I didn't even need to take, I would still show up and take it because my mom always told me, you study to show yourself approved. And I knew that those tests was a way to show my learning and to show what all I have accomplished throughout that semester. I will also stay after class just to talk with teachers if I was struggling on a topic. And I will always be the one who did those extra homework assignments. I know you guys are told probably like in math class, just do the even numbers because the odds are in the back of the book. I did all of them. I wanted to be that extra person to take that mile, do the extra mile, because I knew I was blessed to be where I was. I knew that people had given money and had helped me, paid for me to be in college, and I didn't want to waste their money, and I didn't want to waste my time. I also had some fun. I had some distractions. I ended up with a 6-year-old. And my advice to you all